Welcome to part 2 of how do you invest in apartment buildings. What if you've never invested in an apartment building before? Can you still do that? Or do you have to have a certain level of experience to start investing in apartment buildings? All that and more coming up. Welcome back to part 2 of how to invest in apartment buildings. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the next 3 strategies of knocking down that first apartment building. Often that's the hardest one to get. It's called the law of the first deal. Once you get that first deal done, it gets easier and easier and easier. But we need to make sure we get that first deal behind us. And stick around to the end, because that last tip, I'm going to talk to you about how to get into apartment buildings even if you don't have any capital. Now, in part number 1, we talked about the first 2 strategies, which is shifting your mindset and making sure you pick the right market. So the third tip you need to know to start investing in apartment buildings is you have to choose a broker. After you've shifted your mindset and picked your market, now it's time to pick a broker inside that market that can start connecting you with the types of deals that you want to invest in. One of the things I want you to know about brokers is they're looking for you as much as you're looking for them. Brokers are looking for investors that are looking to bring capital to their location. They have often a lot of deals to connect with investors, and the more investors they have, the quicker they can move those properties. So you are a high valuable asset to a broker. But after you pick your market, you have to start calling brokers in that area and start the relationship process. The better relationship you build with your broker, the better your real estate business will go. It's that simple. When brokers get properties, we want them to think about you. And the better relationship they have with you, the easier that's going to happen. Brokers can help connect you with what we call pocket or napkin listings. These are listings that aren't on the MLS, they're not out there, but they're in their pocket, they're on a napkin. It's the idea that they have listings that nobody knows about. It's very confidential to their brokerage, and in fact, many times you'll have to sign an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement or a CA, a confidentiality agreement, saying when you see that property, you won't pass it on to anybody else. That's how they keep their listings private to their own investors. But that's good news for us, because that means when I connect with brokers and they have those listings and I become one of a broker's investors, they then will think of me when they start getting those deals that fit what kind of property I'm looking for. So there's one question every broker wants to know about every investor that calls them, and it's this: can they close, or are they legit? What that means is this. Let's say you call up a broker, you say, I'm looking for a 10-unit building in Atlanta, Georgia. He says, okay, I have one here. It's 1.2 million. And you say, great, that fits what I'm looking for. You put in an offer on that project, but you can't raise the capital to get it done, or you can't get a loan for that project, and that project falls through. Brokers lose faith in you as investors really quickly when that kind of thing happens. So when you call a broker, they're going to really want to make sure you can bring this property to the finish line and get it closed. So as you are reaching out to brokers, connecting with banks is really, really important and valuable, so you can get what is called a POF letter. Proof of funds. A proof of funds letter says this person can get a loan for this amount on this project. That is really powerful when you start talking to brokers and you can say, listen, I have a POF letter. I'm ready to go if we can find the kind of property that fits what I'm looking for. Then the broker takes that back to the seller and says, listen, I have an investor that's ready to go. It often puts you to the front of the line when a broker gets a deal on their desk and they think, which investor should I email this to? They're going to start with the investors that they know can close. One of the ways I've been able to build my real estate business over the years is being somebody that would do whatever it took to close. They know we'll get it to the finish line as long as all the due diligence checks out and all the numbers we were given are accurate. One of the best things you can do for your business is exactly what you say. Brokers love to send deals to people they know who can get it done. Become that kind of person, and you'll never have to worry about deals headed your way. Now, what determines can you close is one specific thing. What access do you have to capital? Both bank capital and private capital. So as you're working with brokers, one of the strongest things to do, start building that network of where your money's coming from, both from banks and from your private lenders. But we'll go over that in a minute. Before I give you the last 2 tips, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we do a video. We're going to continue to do videos that can help change your life, and I don't want you to miss them. Piggybacking on our last tip, the next thing you want to do is contact a commercial loan broker. It's time to start building your network with bankers. Bankers will change your life, especially right now because money is so cheap. Interest rates are 2, 3, 4% sometimes. It's almost free money. The more money you can get from a bank, the better deal you're going to get on multifamily. The more return on investment you're going to get. So building a really strong relationship with a bank is going to fast forward your career. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to change the way brokers look at you. If they know you're already connected with a bank that can pull this thing off, you're going to be at the top of their list. And that's what I want for you. One of the things that'll slow you down in your career is not being taken seriously. By connecting with loan brokers and real estate brokers, those are two major people on your team that can totally change your life and your business. Now, what if you can't qualify for the size loan you need to knock down the deal? Let's say you get a deal that crosses your path, it's $2 million. You can't qualify for that much. Don't throw the deal out. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. There's actually people in this industry that can partner with you, and they're called sponsor partners, and they can come in, help get the loan. They often get a piece of equity of the deal for doing that, but you basically can leverage their loan ability, and you can still get the deal done. What I've learned in multifamily real estate, there's always a way to get it done. It's just how creative can we be. When I was first starting off, I brought on partners because I couldn't qualify for the big loans we needed to get to knock down these properties. So I brought on partners to these deals that also had some net worth that they could bring to the table, and they had sometimes better credit, they had sometimes more money, and they could get a loan that I maybe couldn't get on my own. When getting a loan for multifamily real estate, a bank is going to give you anywhere from 70 to 80% of the price of the property. It's $1 million, they're going to give you anywhere from $700,000 to $800,000, meaning you need to come up with either $200,000 or $300,000. The bank's going to give you that lion's share, but we're still responsible for coming up with around a third of the money, not just the down payment, but also the fees associated with closing. So how do we come up with the rest of that capital? And my favorite tip that will fast forward your career and help you get into multifamily real estate apartments way easier is by raising private capital. You have to be able to raise private capital from an investors. But everybody always asks me, okay, Mike, how do I do that? The first thing, go back to the first part and remember, you got to shift that mindset. Every time you ask an investor for money, your mindset often will determine if you get that deal done. Because let me tell you, if you go to an investor and they can smell desperation or fear, they're not going to invest with you. But where does that fear come from? It comes from that mindset. So we need to shift that when seeking to raise private capital. So the first thing you want to do in raising private capital is make an investor list. If you're a spreadsheet kind of person or a Google Doc kind of person, that's great. If you're old school, you want to just pull out a pen and a paper, that's fine too. The truth of the matter is, pull something out, start making a list of people that you know that may be interested in investing in real estate. You may be asking, Mike, where do I find those people? I know of a couple family and friends, but my network's pretty small. What I would encourage you to do is go through your phone, go through your social media, look at every single name in your phone, look at every single name in your social media and see if those are people that would be interested in investing in real estate. And also, when you're making those lists of people, send them this video so they know how to start investing in apartment buildings as well. Investors that are going to invest in your deals, the more information they have, the easier they are to persuade to invest in your deal. Here is a very simple tip that's kind of the secret sauce of building an investor list. Reach out to one investor per weekday. 5 a week, 20 a month, 240 people a year. That's 240 opportunities every year you're throwing lobs up for investors to hit it out of the park. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people ask me, Mike, I can't raise money. I'm like, well, how many people did you contact last week? Well, I haven't contacted anybody. Well, then I think I know why you're not raising any money. So the truth of the matter is, after you make that list, let's reach out to one person a day. What you'll find after about 2 to 3 months of that, of really staying consistent, you'll have so many people to follow up with that says, hey, circle back to me after this happens. I'm just about to sell a house and I'll have some money available. And all of a sudden, you'll have a lot of people that have responded to those text messages. Private capital is gold. If you can raise private capital, there is nothing you can't do in buying apartments. People ask, Mike, how do I buy apartments? Right here. Watch this video over and over again because I'm telling you, this is the content that's changed my life. Also, I have a free training for you, my multifamily masterclass that walks through how to start investing in multifamily and start or grow your portfolio. Make sure you go to the description, click that link, and digest that content. because that content is what I use to launch and it's what you can use too.